was looking out into the country, a big flat open field, there's some hay in the background. I don't know if I was in Texas or where exactly I was. I'm assuming I was. And I just see hundreds of missiles or rockets raining down. And it's like I almost didn't know what they were at first, but now I clearly know they were rockets or missiles. But instead of them landing and exploding, they just kind of stopped. Like before they hit the ground, they just stopped and were like fireballs, but in the air. They didn't hit the ground and land. And then I came out of it and I was like, whoa, and I wrote it down.
Let's start by giving our praises to the Most High, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles, and the Holy Spirit, who taught us his truth. Honors to the brothers doing the work to push the gospel, risking their life and freedom to do so. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, which would be 1/3 of all Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians who make up the children of Israel, who will receive salvation by returning back to the Most High now. We're back with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. This lesson is going to be titled, Don't Forget America Will Be Destroyed. And we got another dream vision video that somebody had. And the Lord said he'll pour out his spirit on all flesh. So everybody's having visions about the destruction of America. Not only American people, but people living outside of America. They're having visions of this place being destroyed. And what I like about it is everybody got a little piece to the puzzle. What everybody's seeing is just a small little preview. So if you take all these dreams, compile them together, you get a portion of the day of destruction. Even visions and dreams can't fully tell you the severity and the devastation of the destruction, but it's a small piece of it. And this is a video that I brung out before. Well, a different portion of a video that I brung out, 50 Dreams and Visions of World War III. Pretty much 50 Dreams and Visions of America being destroyed. Now, pretty much everything she said lined up with the scriptures. That's how we know it was a vision. And then there's some things, some details that she mentioned I want to go into that I thought was interesting. So we're going to start playing this video again.
I was looking out into the country, a big flat open field, there's some hay in the background. I don't know if I was in Texas or where exactly I was. I'm assuming I was. And I just see hundreds of missiles or rockets raining down.
Okay, so right there, she said she saw hundreds of missiles raining down on America. And that's exactly what the scripture describes. So we're going to hit Isaiah 13 and 19 real quick. And Babylon, this would be the daughter of Babylon, Mystery Babylon, America, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So ancient Babylon wasn't overthrew like Sodom and Gomorrah. And what was the result of Sodom and Gomorrah being overthrown? It shall be never inhabited. So when America is destroyed, it will never be inhabited. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there. Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But again, the destruction of America is going to be similar to what the Most High did to Sodom and Gomorrah. And what did the Most High do with Sodom and Gomorrah? Well, let's get Luke 17 and 29. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. So when Babylon will be overthrew like Sodom and Gomorrah was overthrew by the Lord raining fire and brimstone from heaven. Now let's see what this lady said about the missiles.
Texas or where exactly I was. I'm assuming I was. And I just see hundreds of missiles or rockets raining down. And
see, she saw hundreds, thousands of missiles raining down. So the Lord is going to rain fire and brimstone from heaven. This simply means from above, from outer space. This is talking about an aerial attack. And the Lord having these countries rain nuclear missiles down on America, that's that aerial attack. That's the same fire and brimstone that's going to come from heaven down on America. It's going to come through the nuclear missiles. Okay, so now also too, we're going to get the book of Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 16. For the ungodly that denied to know thee were scourged by the strength of thine arm, with strange rains, hails, and showers were they persecuted, that they could not avoid, and through fire were they consumed. So in this lifetime, this will be talking about the nuclear destruction. That's the strange rain. Rain that doesn't bring forth water, rains that bring forth a consuming fire. Strange showers that's going to bring the fire that people will not be able to avoid. Now we're going to let some more of this play.
in the background, I don't know if I was in Texas or where exactly I was. I'm assuming I was. And I just see hundreds of missiles or rockets raining down. And it's like I almost didn't know what they were at first, but
Yeah. And she said, it's almost like she didn't know what they were. That's going to contribute to that strange rain. You're going to see many of something coming from the sky. You're going to be like, damn, it looked like it's raining. There's so many of them, but it's going to be unfamiliar to you. That's that strange rains.
now I clearly know they were rockets or missiles. But instead of them landing and exploding, they just kind of stopped. Like before they hit the ground, they just stopped and were like fireballs, but in the air. They didn't hit the ground and land. And then
So that's going to also contribute to the strange rains, because rain as we know it, it comes to the ground. Once the rain drops, it doesn't stop until it hit the ground. Well, she said these missiles came down like rain, but they stopped before they hit the ground. That's going to be that strange rains. And she probably don't understand why the missile stopped instead of smashing into the ground. But we're about to go into that right now. So the reason that this makes sense, and this is something that the American people probably don't consider, when we picture the destruction of America, we picture missiles slamming into the ground. Well, if the missile explodes before it hits the ground, that'll cause maximum destruction. But if the missile smashes into the ground, part of that explosive force is going to go underground. The actual ground itself is going to take a lot of the damage, but we're going to explain. So first, let's play this video clip real quick. This is from the movie Oppenheimer. So check this out.
One day, Robert Oppenheimer, the inventor of the atomic bomb, asked Albert Einstein one of the scariest questions in history. Can a dropped nuclear bomb ignite the atmosphere? According to them, although the realization of this terrible scenario was close to zero, it was not impossible.
So Oppenheimer asked Einstein, if we develop this nuclear weapon, will it set the entire Earth on fire? He said it shouldn't, but it's not possible. Now it's going to get to the point why the lady said the missiles didn't actually hit the ground, but they exploded in midair before they hit the ground. We're going to get into it.
If you build a nuclear fission bomb powerful enough, you can start a chain reaction that can convert hydrogen atoms in air and water into helium, just like in the sun.
So that's why Oppenheimer asked Einstein, if we develop this nuclear bomb, will it set the whole world on fire? Because in the case of the hydrogen bomb, like they said, it will start a chain reaction. And I think the specific term is a nuclear chain reaction. And then listen to how he describes it.
Enough. You can start a chain reaction that can convert hydrogen atoms in air and water into helium.
So in the nuclear chain reaction, all the hydrogen and oxygen in the air, it would be ignited. Because the hydrogen bomb, it would ignite all hydrogen atoms in the air. And in the atmosphere itself is made out of hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. But also the water. The water has hydrogen in it, H2O. So what he's saying, in theory, they were thinking if they set loose a hydrogen bomb, that the hydrogen bomb could potentially ignite all hydrogen atoms in the atmosphere and in the water, thus setting the entire Earth on fire. And the important reason why in her dream the nuclear missiles didn't smash into the ground, but they stopped above ground, then exploded, is because that will cause for maximum damage. So, for example, the reason the bombs don't explode high up, but they come down a little bit. Well, the air, the atmosphere is thinner the higher you go in altitude. So is what? Is less hydrogen. But at the nuclear missiles come down closer to the surface of the ground, the atmosphere is thicker. There's more hydrogen that can be ignited, causing more damage. But also too, that's why it don't explode super high up in the atmosphere. But that's why in her dream they also didn't smash into the ground. They came low enough, not hitting the ground, but to explode in midair, close to the surface of the ground, to cause for maximum damage, to ignite as many hydrogen molecules as possible. Excuse me, hydrogen atoms. And then also, there's more hydrogen, there's more oxygen. And we know that oxygen is going to fuel the fire. So we're going to play that all the way again.
Inventor of the atomic bomb asked Albert Einstein one of the scariest questions in history. Can a dropped nuclear bomb ignite the atmosphere? According to them, although the realization of this terrible scenario was close to zero, it was not impossible. If you build a nuclear fission bomb powerful enough, you can start a chain reaction that can convert hydrogen atoms in air and water into helium, just like in the sun. As a result, the atmosphere and the ocean may catch fire. The world may become so hot that it can turn into a miniature star, and all humanity may perish. But this would require a very, very powerful bomb. Fortunately, such a bomb has not been invented, at least for now.
Okay, so I got a comment when I was looking at the comments. Didn't they think that the atmosphere would be ignited? That was a fear. And this explains it. No, that was a common concern during the Manhattan Project. That's what the movie Oppenheimer showed. That the atmosphere could ignite through sustained nuclear reaction, but it was proven after the first test. So they thought that the hydrogen bomb will create a sustained nuclear reaction in which the hydrogen atoms would be ignited and begin to ignite one another. Hydrogen atoms in the atmosphere and in the water. But that makes perfect sense why she said the nuclear bombs didn't smash into the ground. They came down but self destructed before hitting the ground. And let's play that again.
And it's like I almost didn't know what they were at first, but now I clearly know they were rockets or missiles. But instead of them landing and exploding, they just kind of stopped. Like before they hit the ground, they just stopped and were like fireballs, but in the air. They didn't hit the ground and land. And then
So yeah, again, maximum damage. There's more oxygen and hydrogen at lower altitudes, closer to sea level. But again, if the nuclear missiles were smashed into the ground, that would take away from its destructive force. Missiles smashed into the ground is only useful if you're trying to take out an underground base, an underground bunker, something like that. But what the nations are going to do is destroy the surface of America. So it makes sense that the nuclear missiles not going to smash into the ground, but they're going to explode mid-air close to the surface of the ground. But let's go back to this quote real quick from the movie Oppenheimer, and we're going to match this up with the scriptures.
In history, can a dropped nuclear bomb ignite the atmosphere? According to them, although the realization of this terrible scenario was close to zero, it was not impossible. If you build a nuclear fission bomb powerful enough, you can start a chain reaction that can convert hydrogen atoms in air and water into helium, just like in the sun.
So the hydrogen atoms would ignite. That's why 2 Peter 3 and 10 reads, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise." That's the nuclear destruction. "And the elements shall melt with fervent heat." How would the elements melt? Hydrogen is an element. So the hydrogen itself is going to be ignited during this nuclear destruction. Even a human body is composed of hydrogen atoms. So the elements itself, the air, the atmosphere, the water, human flesh, anything that has hydrogen is going to be ignited. Thus, that's the elements melting with fervent heat. This is nuclear heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Yeah, because it's going to hit everything at the surface. That's the works that are therein. The things that the people have built up here in these last days. So it made perfect sense in her dream that the missiles didn't smash into the ground, but they came down and stopped in midair. That's going to be terrifying to the people. Just imagine thousands of nuclear missiles, nuclear warheads coming to the ground at hypersonic speed, but then they stop in midair. It's going to be that brief moment of silence when you looking at the nuclear warhead that's floating above ground before it self-destructs and explodes. You're going to have that brief moment, a few seconds, a few microseconds before they explode in your face. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. So that's going to be the result. It's going to wipe out everything on the surface. Going back to Isaiah 13 to 20, it shall never be inhabited. America will never be inhabited again. America won't be capable of sustaining life after this destruction. is going to be an everlasting memorial. And when we hit Isaiah 24 and 19, the earth is utterly broken down. And not the physical planet, the earth, but the works therein. The elements are going to be broken down. That's the elements melting with fervent heat. That's that nuclear energy. So the earth, meaning the elements, is utterly broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. Now, they said this is not necessarily possible with the nuclear missiles at that time.
That can convert hydrogen atoms in air and water into helium, just like in the sun. As a result, the atmosphere and the ocean may catch fire. The world may become so hot that it can turn into a miniature star, and all humanity may perish. But this would require a very, very powerful bomb.
So they say that the atmosphere and the water itself will burn. They said, but that will require a powerful bomb. Now, the first nuclear missiles developed wasn't capable of causing the atmosphere and the water to ignite. Over here to the left are the nuclear bombs they dropped on Japan. This is America's two biggest nuclear bombs that they ever tested. This is the biggest nuclear bomb Russia has ever tested. And this is in theory what they have now. But this chart is decades old. So the stuff they got now will blow this stuff out the water. The stuff they got now, like the Satan 2, could possibly ignite the entire atmosphere and ignite the water. And that will what? That will burn up, that will dissolve all the chemtrails, all the air pollution, water pollution, all the plastics and paper in the oceans, gas and oil spills. So that makes sense. Let's play that one more time.
Reaction that can convert hydrogen atoms in air and water into helium, just like in the sun. As a result, the atmosphere and the ocean may catch fire. The world may become so hot that it can turn into a miniature star, and all humanity may perish. But this would require a very, very powerful bomb. Fortunately, such a bomb has not been invented, at least for now.
Last.
And they have those type of bombs now that's capable of that type of destruction. So yeah, I thought it was very interesting that she said the bombs didn't hit the ground, but they stopped in midair and then exploded. That's gonna be scary because it's gonna be a moment where people think they safe. Like, oh, it's a malfunction. It's a dead warhead. And then boom, maximum damage. And that makes sense because there's more hydrogen that could be ignited at the surface. Not to mention the waters are at the surface, the lakes and oceans, and then there's more oxygen to fuel the fire. So that made perfect sense. And that was just a strange detail that you don't hear in every vision of World War III. The nuclear warheads stopping in midair. But we can make sense to that. Yeah, again, Wisdom of Solomon 16:16, for the ungodly that deny to know thee were scourged by the strength of thine arm with strange rains, those nuclear warheads, the thousands and thousands and thousands of them, hails and showers were they persecuted that they could not avoid, and through the fire, that's that nuclear fire, were they consumed. But again, it says that they could not avoid. Yeah, so maximum damage at World War III. People have visions of America and be like, yeah, America's going to be attacked. America is not going to just be attacked and the people live and tell about it. No, America's is going to be destroyed. Ain't nobody going to attack America and then turn their back. The countries know the moment we attack America, we got to destroy her. And that's the spirit that the Lord going to put on the heart of these nations that come up against America. Ain't nobody just attacking it to attack it. they gonna level this place. And it's getting very close. We see how far the it is to the economy crashing, dollar being worthless, election, all hell breaking loose, wars breaking out all over the earth, upwars of the people, the chariots all over the place, the microchip so close to being brought forth, all these outages, talks of blackouts, all this stuff gonna happen at once. But we that close. All right. So it was edifying. Till next time. Shalom.